Recording. Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm Erin. Thank you for
nice
coming
to
in.
meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for coming in to see me today. I'll just start with confidentiality. Do you know what confidentiality means?
I've never been to therapy before.
Therapy before? Okay. So anything that you say in our session today will be kept confidential. It's just between you and I. Unless, of course, something comes up in where I think that you might be a harm to yourself or are thinking about harming or hurting others, then it's my responsibility to follow up on that. But other than that, everything that we talk about is stays in this room with us today. So, okay. All right. I'm glad you came in to see me. What can I help you with? What's kind of going on?
Well, in October, my daughter was diagnosed with Kawasaki disease, which is an autoimmune disorder.
Okay.
Basically, she had a really high fever. She broke out into a really bad rash. She was in hospital for 8 days. Okay. And she's been really sickly since we've gotten home. Okay. Essentially, this disorder can cause aneurysms in your heart. Okay. And she didn't have any of those effects, which is great. But because it's an autoimmune disorder, her immune system is just completely compromised. And so since we've been home from the hospital since October, she's been sick probably 3 or 4 times with different colds.
Can I ask how old she is?
She's 3.
3? Okay.
Yeah. She has an older sister, she's 7.
Okay.
Anyway, so she's been really sickly and just cold after cold, and I have to send her to school, which is I think where she's getting most of the colds because I work and go to school. And we're trying to do everything we can, but like she just keeps getting sick.
Yeah. What types of things are you doing to prevent her from getting sick, or types of things have you done, trying to prevent her from getting sick?
Right. Well, I'm trying to do the things I can keep control of, like she's on vitamins, and that happens daily, and she's on probiotics, which happens daily. If we know someone's sick, we just won't take her there. Okay. Just because we're trying to prevent it as much as possible, but it's not always possible. I mean, she goes to school with preschoolers, and they're all 3 and 4 years old, and spreading their boogers all over each other. Yeah. So I can't really control everything. Right.
So what, obviously when a child is diagnosed with a lifelong, an illness is going to affect them across their life, that brings with it a lot of issues. And what are you struggling with the most, do you think?
I guess just coming to terms with the fact that she'll be possibly sickly her whole life. Just battling it's not like a deathly sickly, like we could have lost her, but we didn't. So that's good, but just she's going to have this problem her whole life probably, and just coming to terms with that, and accepting it, I guess.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's a hard thing to accept, really.
Right. Well, everyone wants their child to be healthy and happy and successful, but I guess I just got to learn to accept that this is our reality.
Yeah. What kind of things have you done to think about or to kind of come to terms with it? Is there a certain way that you're handling it, or that you're?
I talked to my husband about it, and my mom, and we're all still it's still new. I mean, it's only been a few months, so yeah, mainly just talking to them about it. And I actually ran into someone that had it as a child, and she's in her late 20s now. Okay. And she kind of stated my worst fears, that she's been sick all her life, but I guess it's not my worst fear. She doesn't have any long-term effects other than just bad immune system. Okay. So, I mean, in a way that was helpful, because she was able to kind of tell me that she's led a healthy, she's successful. She went to school, and that didn't hold her back in any way. Right. That was just something that was part of her life that she had to deal with.
Yeah, so a challenge, something she had to overcome.
Right. But it didn't hold her back in any way.
Yeah, sure. So have you looked into support groups for parents of children with is it Kawasaki's?
Kawasaki's, yeah. I haven't looked into it yet.
Yeah. Do you still feel like it's too fresh, like it's a too new of a diagnosis?
Yeah, I think I want to see how she's doing a little bit over like the first years. Usually, you can even have it recur, I guess, which I didn't know much about until she had it, obviously.
So can it goes into submission and then it recurs?
You could just have like a second, not even fully understanding it myself. You could just have like it reoccur, same scenario, rash and high fevers that are uncontrolled, which can still cause aneurysms in your heart. So you can still have the full episode again.
Okay.
So, and that can happen anytime. I think it's within the first year is the most prominent time.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like, I don't know, I feel like on standby.
It's going to be a touch and go year. This year might be a little bit trying for you. Yeah.
Seeing how she responds, and hopefully she doesn't get too sick. And I'm worried about the flu, because she gets everything. And
can she get immunizations?
She was able to get the flu shot.
Oh, she was, okay.
But this year they said it's not as effective anyway. So I don't know. I'm in a holding pattern right now, just waiting to. The likelihood of her getting it again is like 1%.
Okay.
So it's like really small.
Yeah, but you have been through it, and so you know how that affected her. And that 1%, even though for me, not having a child with Kawasaki's might not seem like a big percentage for you, it is, because you've lived through that.
I've lived it, and I don't want to do it again.
And you don't want to do it again, and that can be kind of a scary and cause some anxiety and stress, and so I can see where you're coming from. What do you think at this point in time is something that we need to work on that would be helpful to you, so that you can really manage the next year? And some tools that we could provide you so that you're able to maybe reduce anxiety and really feel good about this, like feel like maybe you have a handle on her diagnosis.
I guess I just need to, like you said, reducing the anxiety is probably the main thing. I need to, it's 1%. So like it is pretty low. It's pretty small.
Yeah.
So reducing the anxiety, I don't even know where to start with that.
Yeah. What works in general, and in other times of your life when you felt anxious, what have you done to reduce that anxiety? Can you think back to another time that you might have been anxious and done something to reduce that?
For me, it's always been like exercise. Exercise has been really helpful in a lot of ways for many different reasons, but and also I think knowledge. Seeing the girl that I ran into that also had it as a child. Yeah. Even though it was kind of scary hearing what she went through, and because it was really similar to what my daughter went through. But knowing that she was okay. Yeah. Never came back again. Yeah. So those are really good things. And then for me personally, obviously, to reduce stress and anxiety overall is just exercise, focusing a little on me. Right.
So what do you think are some things that we could do? It sounds like you need to exercise more. That's a good anxiety reducer and stress release, right, for you. Yeah. And in getting information, maybe seeking out a support group for Kawasaki's disease so that you can connect with other parents who probably have been in your same boat and are able to validate your feelings from the perspective of I've been there and this is how it affected my life, and that might be something to seek out.
Yeah, definitely. I need to just set aside time each week just to get some fresh air, get some exercise. Yeah. And that would be helpful. And then I know that there's a foundation for Kawasaki's disease. Okay. And they do a lot of events, so maybe networking with them would be helpful. Yeah, and seeking and finding out if they have a support group for you. There's so many support groups online, even Facebook and things like that might be enough to just start collecting information. I know for me, information is power. I feel more empowered when I know what I'm up against. Right. And so that might be something to look into. This week, as we leave, because I know we're going to get back together next week, what are some really
concrete goals that you'd like to work on. So we talked about exercise, and we talked about maybe reaching out to the Kawasaki Foundation, finding a support group. How does that look for you in this coming week?
Well, definitely I'll try to talk to my husband, maybe set aside some time that maybe we can, either I can just exercise by myself and he can watch the kids, or that we can exercise as a family, something like that.
How many times this week do you think you could squeeze in some exercise?
Realistically, maybe 2.
Okay, let's start with that.
Yeah.
Start with that. And I think sometimes we overthink how much is necessary to reduce our stress and anxiety, so don't overthink it. But maybe 2 times this week for half an hour.
Right.
And really limit yourself. Don't overdo it. Just really calendar that out. Do you think that's something you could do?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
doable. 2 times is doable.
Okay. And then how about seeking out the foundation?
Yeah, I'd probably maybe get online and just start doing some research on the foundation, how to get involved, or just finding them online and just seeing what their events are.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a really good plan. Why don't we make that our plan for the week, and we'll come back together, next week, and we'll see how that worked for you and see how you're feeling.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next session.
Hi, Melissa. Welcome back.
Hi, it's so nice to see you again.
You too. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Good.
Really
Tell
good.
me about your week.
So I was able to get out 2 times.
Okay, great.
We went one time on the Bob Jones bike trail, and so my girls rode their bikes, and my husband and I walked,
Good.
And they were up ahead of us, so it gave us time to just kind of talk and just kind of de-stress and find out what's going on in each other's lives, because life is hectic.
Yeah, sure.
And that was really good. And then I got out another time by myself, and I just went running.
Yeah.
And that was really great. So de-stressor, I put in my headphones and ran, and that was great.
Did you feel like you were able to squeeze in those 2 workouts over the course of the week without too much? Was it a struggle to get there, or were you able to get out and do it without too much rearranging of schedules?
It wasn't too bad. As long as I do like maybe one on my own and one with the family.
Good.
That way I don't feel like I'm taking too much time from them, because I don't want to,
Always a mother's struggle, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And then I did follow up looking for the Kawasaki Disease Foundation, and I was able to find them. They have a website, and then they found that they have a Facebook.
Great.
And so I signed up, and I follow them on Facebook, and they constantly have just information coming through about like symptoms and recurrence, and just support groups. They have a lot of stuff down in San Diego because that's where they're based out of. So it was just a good resource.
Good. Do you find was there enough information? Did you feel good about the information, or was the information overwhelming? Because I think sometimes when we seek those types of things, it can be a lot of information at once. How are you feeling about the information you were receiving?
I thought it was really good. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just like dry research. It's not it's based towards, here's mom who's frantic looking for information.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of weed through that. But I thought it was useful.
What about the Facebook page? Does that have other families dealing with Kawasaki?
It does, and that was more helpful than the website.
Sure.
Because it kind of, like most people that are belonging to the Facebook are people who've been through it.
Okay.
So there's constantly posts like, this is my son, and he's been through it, and this is what he's dealing with follow-up. And so that was way more helpful.
Good. Okay. So it sounds like you found some tools this week that you were confident with. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. So it sounds like you're on a good road, and that you've got some tools to use, and just little bits of information at once. Don't overwhelm yourself. But I'm always here if you need a follow-up or need to touch base with me. My door is always open. It was great to meet you, and I'm glad we were able to reach some goals.
Yes. Thank you so much, Erin.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too.